Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. Do hope that you're well. Today is the 29th of April, 2023. And just feel like I need to hold a crystal. Yeah, why not? So how are you all doing, guys? How are you all doing? Just trying to settle myself and ground myself and amplify also the thoughts and the teaching that I want to bring through in this video for you. Because this is going to be a twin flame update, but it's also going to be a twin flame teaching. And those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. Those of you that are used to me know that I look at a number of different subjects here on this channel. I'm not predominantly a twin flame channel, not that there's anything wrong with being that. But it's just that I come back to the table when I feel there's something new to add to the conversation with regards to twin flame. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I'm going to try and keep it structured and put it into 3 different sections. I don't know if it's going to work, but these are the sections. Number 1, in no particular order. Number 1, I want to have a look at the ongoing attack of twin flame generally within the wider community. Why is it happening? Why now? And maybe an answer to that. It's not an attack on me, but I've just noticed it seems to be happening to others who are talking about this subject. So I'm going to be looking at that. We're also going to be looking at some teaching that came through the other day from Archangel Metatron, my main guide, about the different expressions of love and twin flame frequency within the different dimensions. Now, this isn't what I was talking about in the last video about mythical time. That still stands. But I'd like to now go further and talk about the different expressions of love within 3D, 4D, 5D and beyond, and indeed below 3D, because love in some form grows through the different dimensional frequencies. And the twin flame ultimate expression and manifestation does indeed need to occur at 5D or higher, but there are, I don't want to say watered down versions, but because it's all growth, there are just other variations of it in the different dimensional frequencies. So I'm going to explain about that. I'm also going to share what I believe to be an important piece of symbolism for those of you that understand that we live in a holographic universe, which is full of symbolism, with regards to the crowning of a new king and queen in England next weekend. You don't have to like the royal family, approve of the royal family, or anything to just receive the teaching that comes from the template that's being laid down next weekend. I'll get to that later, but it's fascinating because it also comes into the realm of different people that we have on our path, not all of whom are karmics. The twin flame debate and a lot of the videos that I see, it seems to be fixated on the karmic or the divine counterpart. And what I am suggesting is that although those parties are of course often involved, well, the divine counterpart is always involved, there can also be people that you meet on your path which are not karmic and don't fit into a neat little category, and indeed might have come from off planet to help you hone your qualities and frequencies within yourself to get you to a place of unification of masculine and feminine within yourself, and then also as an outward expression maybe in terms of union with a physical divine counterpart as well. So there's quite a lot to get through in this video. I think I'll start with the more simple stuff. It is still early, I've only had one coffee. The more simple stuff. I'm not meaning to diss it either, actually. Why I actually came, you see, it's so interesting. You see, darkness always serves the light. Darkness always serves the light without even realising it is. It's so funny. Why I decided I was going to do a twin flame video, before I got all of these downloads about different frequencies and, you know, different soul partners and all the rest of it, was I just happened to be watching a video a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't a twin flame channel, and I'm not going to name who the person was that I was watching. I wasn't even watching the whole of it. I just happened to stumble upon a live video of somebody. And I was obviously meant to see it because I only literally watched 10 minutes, and this was the 10 minutes that I saw. This person is well known. They have a huge following doing what they do, and they're very respected, and I respect them as well. This is why I don't want to diss them, and I don't want them to be named. I don't think you'll be able to tell who it is anyway from what I'm about to say. They were just doing a live, they were talking about life and stuff, and then the subject of twin flame came up. And this reader basically said, oh, well, you know, that is just devil energy. Twin flame energy, it's just devil energy. People are not able to discern or distinguish that it is devil energy. And she went on to explain that twin flame is devil energy because, in her view, it's all about obsession and it's about hooks. And, well, in many ways, those two words sum up what she feels about twin flame. It's about obsession, it's about hooks, it's about a lower energy, keeping you down, stopping you from living your life, etc. And indeed, if you spend your life or months, weeks, years pining for a divine counterpart that may not be in your life, then absolutely you are tied into some type of lower energy, because my belief is that the twin flame journey is about living your life, okay? It's about living your life with or without them in the physical reality right beside you. And you're going to have to watch my other videos to understand what I mean by all of that. Anyway, I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to sit with that for a while. You know, devil energy is twin flame energy. I'm going to sit with that because I like to listen to different perspectives. It's very important to do that, particularly if they're polar opposite to what you believe to be true. We learn something from that. So I sat with it. I thought, I don't believe that to be true, but I'm still going to sit with it, see what I get. So I meditated on it, and Metatron gave me one word in response to the big D word, devil. In relation to twin flame, he gave me the word muse, okay? And if we actually look up the definition of muse, so basically what he's saying is your twin flame or your divine counterpart is your muse. A muse is a source of inspiration, especially a guiding genius. It's somebody who takes you higher, not lower. A muse doesn't keep you trapped. A muse wants to bring out the best of you, the very best of you, to bring out something within yourself that you don't even know is there. So it's not about going lower, it's about going higher. It's a source of inspiration. And actually, I'm just reading this. It says, in mythology, the Muses were 9 goddesses who symbolise the arts and sciences. Today, a muse is a person who serves as an artist's inspiration. But the point is that you are each other's inspiration. You are each other's muse. Even if you don't realise it, even if you're not in a physical connection with this person, even if it is just operating more on a mythical time basis, as I talked about last video, you are still this other person's muse, okay? You're their inspiration. You are the one that helps them to see life in a new way. So I love the fact that Metatron just gave one word in response to that. But it does also just worth maybe spending a minute or two on these attacks that are happening. I'm feeling as though there are plants within the spiritual community at the moment. I think we all know this anyway, don't we? In any particular genre of the spiritual community, it's as though there are plants who are deliberately there to either give disinformation, to stoke trouble, to stoke separation and chaos and division, to keep us apart from each other. And it probably always has been thus. But it feels as though the twin flame community at the moment has been quite heavily infiltrated. And it feels as though it's been infiltrated particularly by people who really don't understand it, who maybe haven't experienced it. And it's like anything, isn't it? What Metatron's showing me now is a library. You go into a library and you go to the source of information or the book that you know is true and trustworthy. You don't go necessarily to an author who's writing about, I don't know, ancient Greek mythology when they haven't got any clue what they're going on about. So we have to be very, very discerning. I'm just going to pull a couple of cards and then I'm going to move on to the second subject within this video. But I just would like to have a look at anything else to say, Metatron, with regards to attack on the twin flame energy at this moment in time, conscious or unconscious, that's being done to put people off their path, help them, well, not help them, but trouble them. Yeah, exactly. Look, Seven of Wands. This is exactly what's going on. It's exactly what I was talking about. And the truth is, though, that if you're on a twin flame path and you know it to be true, because nobody can tell you it's true. That's the first thing to say. Nobody can tell you it's true. It has to be true to you. You have to find that truth. This person is above all the others that are fighting. He's also got the biggest stick. But it's like a wand of truth, okay? So although, yeah, there is an attack going on, but take the higher ground is what Metatron is saying as well. Take the higher ground, very much like this person is above the others. If you're above the others, you can actually see what's coming your way as well. Anything else to say on this, Metatron, before we move on? Attack on the twin flame energy at this time. The Empress. Oh. Yeah, because I was thinking, okay, the attacks are coming thick and fast because we're on the brink. We're on the brink of some beautiful unions about to happen, including the one within yourself. The Empress is fully pregnant and about to give birth. Give birth to what? The swan is an ultimate expression of love. I've got my two swans here on my little altar. And the swan has just given birth to a whole load of little babies. There's lots of people waking up to twin flame energy, discovering that actually I am one, that I always was one. I didn't realise I was one. And this is the after tarot. So in this deck, she's already had the babies, the swans. But I still maintain we're on the brink, although some have arrived early, Metatron is saying. So that's why there's this fighting, okay? That's why there's this attempt to, okay, interesting. Metatron's saying, okay, think about how vulnerable little babies are. Think about how vulnerable little chicks are. It's as though a darker energy, and people might not realise it is a darker energy that they're throwing, but when you throw shade at somebody, or when you try to diss somebody else's belief, that's exactly what you're doing. You're trying to squash it. You're trying to just tell them it's worthless, walk away from it, it's a waste of time. They're trying to attack the chicks. They're trying to attract the chicks, the people that are waking up. And this includes, Metatron saying, the divine counterparts who might have been asleep for some time. You might be in a divine connection with somebody and be very spiritually mature, quite enlightened. You've done your work, you've been doing it for years, but your divine counterpart, for whatever reason, has been stuck or in a sort of incubating state, not really wanting to break out, not wanting to acknowledge that they are actually the divine counterpart and you are their divine counterpart. And it's as though that awakening that's happening, which is very, I wanted to say fragile. It doesn't mean it's going to be squashed. It just needs to be protected. Okay? Needs to be protected. Let me just pull one more card. So going forward with that energy. Anything else to say, Metatron? We have the Tower. We have the World. Wow, guys. Wow. Can you feel what this means? The unification of the counterparts, the increasing number of them, the 144,000 or however many you believe it to be true, it changes the world. The end of the world as we know it. What's that song? It's The End of the World as We Know It by, is that R.E.M.? R.E.M. End of the World. Let me just, End of the World lyrics. It's funny actually. I usually give you a song and I hadn't got a song to give you today, and I was thinking that's a bit strange. Okay, here we go. It's The End of the World as We Know It and I Feel Fine. It's a song by R.E.M. That's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes and aeroplanes, and Lenny Bruce and all. Eye of a hurricane, listen to yourself churn, world serves its own needs. Speed it up a notch, the ladder starts to clatter. Wire in a fire, represent this. Okay, I'm not going to read all of the lyrics, you can read it for yourself. In fact, do read it for yourself. What it appears to be is a song about, or how I'm interpreting it. Well, it is. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's in the title, isn't it? It's like everything falling down. Where are we right now? Where are we right now on the awakening path and the ascension path in this planet? We're at the end of the world as we know it, okay? And as twin flames, we have to just keep holding the light. We have to be like the Empress as everything else crumbles. But definitely there's an awakening of the divine counterpart that's been asleep. And that's why these attacks are coming in. Okay, so hold the faith, hold the line. And in many ways, the guidance is in the title of the song, because it says it's the end of the world as we know it, brackets, and I feel fine. Okay? It's like you're ahead of the game. If you're watching me, you're ahead of the game. You know, you understand what's occurring in our world, why it's occurring. And it feels as though there's a big awakening moment for many divine counterparts who are just realising the extent of what has been going on in our world. And it's shocking to them. It's really shocking to them. But whoever, I don't like to use the words runners and chasers and things like that, but I'm just picking up the energy of within each divine counterpart union, there is one that has been stronger, is what I want to say. Stronger in terms of taking the lead. And so forget runner and chaser. It's not about that for me. It's about someone has taken the lead, or someone has always been able to hold the torch throughout it all. And this leads me to tell you about a vision that I had recently with regards to twin flame. So she's holding the light, hoping that the other counterpart will find her. In my dream, I wrote it down. I think this happened probably around the eclipse that we've just had. I had a vision of cloud, thick cloud, and to the point where you literally couldn't see through the cloud. And I could just see these two hands that were trying to find each other in the cloud. And they couldn't. They were like reaching for each other, the two counterparts reaching for each other, knowing that somehow you must be out there, but I don't know where you are type energy. And they couldn't connect. But then I could see that the mist, the fog was starting to clear. So the implication was that the two hands would be able to touch. Now, I'm being shown in my mind's eye. I'm going to have to turn the camera off to find what this is. But I think it might be Michelangelo. Angelo painting with the hands. Oh, Hand of God. Yeah, this is the painting that I'm seeing. The Michelangelo Hands of God. What does the hand of God painting represent? The hand represents divine approval and acceptance of his sacrifice, and possibly also the storm mentioned in the Gospels. The hand may be seen as the ascension of Christ, reaching down and clasping that of Christ as though to pull him up into the clouds. Okay, it's this, you all know it, it's that's the painting. That's effectively what I was sort of seeing in my vision. But this is about to happen. Now, I'm also feeling this is to do with a raising of the Christ consciousness frequency on our planet. And the more that the Christ consciousness frequency is raised, the easier it is for us to be able to touch God. We are God, okay? We are expressions of God. Your divine counterpart is an expression of God. It's as though it's a meeting of the God-light energy within you both, finally touching. And that means that there's a melting away of the very human, stuck, heavy energies that are preventing this. It's as though we're transcending the physical, is what I'm hearing. Although we are physical, we have to be grounded. We are here in bodies. So, interesting. That is why the attack is happening. We're about to find each other. Okay, let me move on now to the second part of this video. Let me have some water. Okay, just wondering where to start with this one. Where to start with this one, Metatron? Let me just pull a card. I'll show you one card that I'd already pulled. This is from Life Soul Vision Oracle by Romy Weiser. Okay, I'll put the details below. It's a lovely deck. And I pulled this a few days ago. This card is Soul Stories. Soul Stories. And it takes me into the void. It takes me beyond space, beyond time, into all of the different stars that we have been, the stardust that we have been. It takes us into the great cosmos. It takes us so far away from the story that we're stuck in right now. Whatever your story is was in relation to your twin flame. That they're here, that they're there, that they've done this, they've done that, that they're with this person, they're not with this person, that they're in this country, they're not in this country, whatever the story is. That you're with them, that you're not with them. Whatever the story is, it takes you beyond that to a time and a place where you have existed with them before in different galaxies, maybe, certainly in different realms, certainly in different times, certainly at different frequencies. And you've had many stories, and it's gone all sorts of different ways in all sorts of different lifetimes. You've been different things to each other as well in different lifetimes. There've been lifetimes where you never connected. There've been lifetimes where you did. There've been lifetimes where you got together. There've been lifetimes when you didn't. But through it all, there's always been a umbilical cord, for want of a better word, that has never been severed between the two of you. So I just want you to think about that for one moment, because I think the twin flame discussion is very focused just on this lifetime. And whilst we can understand that, because it is the lifetime we're leading and we have to be present for it, to unravel all of the knots and all of the kinks and to grow to the extent that we can in any one incarnation and to learn about ourselves and the other, is it not important to get a glimpse of what has already occurred so we don't just keep making the same mistakes, so we can go beyond that? And what I was shown is that in these different lifetimes and in different places, you've been operating at different frequency levels. It hasn't always been about 5D, getting to 5D. What does that mean? You've operated at frequencies below 5th dimension. You've operated at frequencies below 3rd dimension. But still, in some way, in some shape or form, you've had a connection at each dimensional level. Your love has operated at the frequency of the place that you found yourself, or the circumstances that you found yourself, or what you chose to live in terms of frequency. Yeah? Now, I'd like to tie in now something that I feel is important, because I'm being shown a ladder, and the ladder is effectively a frequency ladder. So you have all the different frequencies from 1st dimension all the way up to, it goes so high, it goes so beyond 5th dimensional frequency. But we often talk about 5D, we talk about 7D. We don't tend to go much beyond that, because, to be perfectly frank, humanity is struggling to get to 5D, let alone beyond it. And we like to think we're operating at 5D, but then we look at our behaviours and our words and our actions, and we often fall short. You've got to be brutally honest about that. So we're all struggling a lot of the time to remain in 5th dimensional frequency, and many of us are doing really well at it. But let's not be under any illusions that it's as natural as breath a lot of the time. And to those who say, oh yes it is, I say, go and visit your family, or go and visit the person that you haven't forgiven yet, or go and sit with the person whose politics you hate, or whatever it is that causes separation for you in this lifetime. Because the higher up the frequencies we go, we just get to non-separation and no division and unity, and we're very far away from that at the moment as a species. So we have this ladder, all the different frequencies upon it, and you're somewhere on that ladder, as am I, okay? Everyone is somewhere on that ladder. And in this world, this planet at the moment, you've got people operating at very different places on the ladder. And it's become very clear what the gaps are. But the truth is that all the frequencies are sort of stacked in some way, that you can't get to one without the other one still being there. It's like that's the foundation. From 1D you go to 2, then you go to 3, then you go to 4, then you go to... There's almost like a cord that exists between all of the frequencies, because you are all the frequencies. Whether you're at 7D, whether you're at 1D, you're all the frequencies. So when something happens at any dimensional frequency on this ladder, it affects the whole ladder, okay? Now, this is a big build-up to what I'm trying to say, because what I want to now bring in is the energy of somebody like Charles and Camilla. Please don't switch off if you don't like the royal family, because this is really important teaching. It's not about whether you like them, don't like them, whether you like the royal family, you don't like the royal family. We live in a holographic universe that's full of symbolism. And on this ladder, symbolism is important, events are important, and whatever dimensional frequency you think somebody like Charles and Camilla are in, whether it's 1D, whether it's 7D, whatever it is, the crowning of a king and a queen next weekend within an ancient land with ancient symbolism and ancient tools affects the whole ladder. Because for them, just as two human beings and two souls who happen to have the name Charles and Camilla, they are being crowned And there is a symbolism for all twin flames in terms of us being crowned. The truth is that we are all divine sovereign beings. We should all be king and queen of our own world. What is playing out in terms of coronation is, just view it as like a story, a piece of symbolism. But remember, it affects the whole ladder. When you look at their story, it's really, really interesting. They have had a connection with each other and a relationship on off, now very much on, for 53 years. Over 5 decades. The love that they've had for each other, because I do believe they are twin flames, whatever frequency you believe they're operating in, remember twin flame is there as it might not be the ultimate expression or the ultimate manifestation of it at 1D, but it's still there. It's a much higher expression and manifestation of it at 5D, but wherever you think they are, I believe they're twin flames. And 5 decades worth of love. 5 decades worth of love that's never wavered. They first met in 1970 when he was 22 and she was 24. It's said that Charles realised that she was the one. How many times have we heard that expression with regards to twin flame, the one, in 1972? But he dithered. He wasn't sure. He played the field a lot, actually, as well. Remember, within a twin flame love story, there's all sorts of sub-stories that go on as well, okay? And what effectively happened was he was sent away to, I don't know whether it was the Navy or one of the armed forces for a year or whatever, by which time she was snatched up by somebody else. She married somebody else. He, of course, then marries Diana in 1982, something like that, or 1980s anyway. And, you know, most of us actually physically remember the history of the time. I don't want to even go into Netflix documentaries because I've not watched them. I remember actually what happened. I was there. I remember watching it. But this template is really interesting. Did you also know, because I didn't know, that next weekend when they're crowned king and queen, when Charles and Camilla actually got married, a decade or so ago now, a couple of decades ago, the king and queen at that time, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, didn't attend the official ceremony of Charles and Camilla's marriage. It was in 2 parts. It was a civil ceremony. The Queen was not present. The King was not present at the time when Charles and Camilla married. They went to the more public service afterwards. And it was to do with constitution and the fact that Charles and Camilla were both divorced. So the crowning next weekend again it's something very important about official, it's like a rubber stamp on 2 people that have been divorced as well, have gone through that and can still become king or queen. So it's going against a religious background that has always denied that. Some of the photographs, guys, honestly, I've just got to show you something. It's so interesting, this stuff. So this is them. This is a picture of them when they met in the 1970. Okay, this is how far back they go. Young love, beside a tree. Now, this is them now, 53 years on. It's love. It might not be the type of love, though, that I think out there's this thing that because they're older, it's like it's not as important or something. Also, the other thing that struck me, well, of course it is, the other thing that struck me, look how, actually, if you look at those photographs, there's a great deal of similarity. There's a difference in terms of how they look, of course. I mean, obviously, Camilla's a hell of a lot older than Diana was there. But actually, the structure of the jaw, the eyes, very similar. The other thing, this is going to blow your mind, this blew my mind. This is a picture of them when they got married, okay? But this is the really extraordinary thing. Do you remember the photograph when Charles and Diana got engaged? She wore that suit. Royal blue. I'm a colour therapist, so I always notice the colours. Okay, it was a very striking blue suit. There she is again, okay? Look at the body language between the two of them. Not particularly comfortable, quite awkward. When Charles was asked, did he love her or whatever, he said during that interview, whatever love is. Look at the colour that Camilla has chosen to wear for, this is the photographs that have been done for the coronation. It's like the official photos or something. Came out yesterday. It's exactly the same colour. I was blown away with that. And look how at ease they both are in each other's company. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing it up because the crowning of a king and queen, whether you think it's a good thing or not, it's still the crowning of a king and queen. So take it next weekend to also be symbolic of a potential crowning of your own king and queen within yourself. So internally or externally. But I also would like to talk about the different roles that people play in getting us to a state of unification. And as I said earlier, I think there's always so much emphasis on the karmic, but I don't think it's always the karmic or the divine counterpart. I believe that there are other people that come into the path who aren't necessarily karmic. Of course, this isn't true for everybody, but I think it can be true for many. Go back to the premise that to get to where you need to be in any lifetime, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players, as Shakespeare said. You sign an agreement before you incarnate, and there are many people that come to serve you and to play different roles to get you to where you need to be. So some of these people with some of these roles, they're not all karmics, is what I'm trying to say to you. And when we look at the template of Diana, Charles, Camilla, I think Camilla's husband was called Andrew. I've not looked at Andrew's energy, but certainly with Charles, I have really, really tried to feel into his past life energy. I don't get that he's been on this planet before. I believe he's off planet. I know some people disagree with me there, but I'm going to stand by what I feel to be true. I don't believe he's had a past life on this planet. In fact, I can't even remember who said it. This is years ago. I remember there was some channeler, I really can't remember who it was, or it was a book I read. Somebody said something along the lines of they believed that Charles had been he was meant to be a king in another on another planet, and for whatever reason he failed his mission there, or it was aborted before he was able to become king. He didn't fulfill his mission. He turned away from it. He didn't step up to the challenge of being king. And so one of the reasons he's had such a long waiting game to become king is because this was part of his sort of karma, but it was off-planet karma. It wasn't to do with what had happened here. It was what to do with what had happened in a different galaxy. I always found that really interesting. So, and then you feel into Diana, and I don't feel Diana was a karmic. I don't feel they were each other's karmics. So they feel as though they were people that came in without the karma. She might have been carrying some family karma, but in terms of the dynamic with her and Charles, I don't feel there was any. And then Camilla, so who's she? Is she the karmic? It's like all these labels that we're trying to put on, none of them seem to really fit. It doesn't seem to work. Energetically, it just does not feel to work. So again, I'd just like you to ponder sometimes the labels we give people. And I'd like you to truly, honestly think about the people that have come into your life in terms of your romantic life, your love life, the people that have touched your heart, that have affected your twin flame journey. It doesn't have to be the twin flame counterpart, but they've led you to greater awareness of love within yourself, your own capability of being able to love. Or they've taught you important lessons related to love, whether it's compassion, forgiveness, gentleness, whatever. Can we take the labels off people? Because the truth is that even if you believe somebody like Camilla is the karmic, and she's got her way in the end, which I don't believe is the truth at all. I believe that the path that Charles and Camilla have been on is to actually get back to each other. Camilla was there before Diana. She was there before Diana. And I love Diana. I'm a big Diana fan. And I have Diana's blessing, by the way, for saying all this stuff. I was tuning into her energy last night too. And she said, no, say it. It's as though we need to have a grown-up conversation about the people in our lives and the roles they play. And Diana saying she didn't see it when she was alive, but she sees it now. She learnt about love and what love wasn't via the whole experience here on Earth. But also just to look at these two, Charles and Camilla, and I feel there's learning, there's teaching there for all of us. If I think I mentioned Camilla in a video a few weeks ago, and somebody sort of said something really, judgmental and nasty about her, and like, oh, well, she was the adulteress and all of this, and if it hadn't been for her. And I said, hold on, actually Diana was unfaithful, Charles was unfaithful, Camilla was unfaithful. There was infidelity there on all sides. You see, this is the other thing about the twin flame path. It's not all smooth, and it's not all roses, and people make mistakes, and people are human, and they mess up. But it's about whether you can get past the hurdles, past the hurts, past the pains. And to have the pain, you need to have somebody to give you the pain, to betray you, so you can forgive. Just think there's great symbolism in next weekend that despite all the odds, after 53 years, these two are being crowned. And they do love each other, there's no doubt about that. Absolutely no doubt about that. He wouldn't be able to operate without her. So, yeah, anything else I want to say on that? I think in terms of karmic partners, it's just about own your part in it. What do I mean by that? Going back to that D word, devil, I think there's so much energy out there about the karmic is the devil in the relationship, the thorn in the side. The karmic's there for a reason, to make the other person stronger, to iron out their flaws, to help them choose a higher expression of love. Let me pull some cards on it. Let's just pull some cards, see what wants to come out now. Anything else to say on this video, please? Yeah. It's what I've just really been saying. Twin flame energy. You're connected by this ribbon of light to each other. This card says detours from the divine. There are detours along the path. They might be people, they might be marriages, they might be relationships, they could be anything. But it's about finding your way back to each other. And whether you like Charles and Camilla or not, they found their way back to each other. And they've gone up against the biggest person in the land at the time when she was alive, Queen Elizabeth, who didn't want them to be married initially. Didn't want them to be together, didn't approve. They went against that. Charles actually was able to stand up to his mother in that respect And then, you know, the Queen grew to love Camilla, but there's so much in those two cards. So let's have a look at your golden ribbon of light. Where are you on that? It's quite interesting as well, isn't it, that the golden ribbon of light there, it's got 3 people in it. What did Diana say? There's 3 people in this marriage. It's just that she, bless her, wasn't the one that was intended to be with Charles forever. She wasn't his twin flame. Camilla was, the one at the back. And the one at the back caught up. Not because of deviousness or manipulation, because of love. It's a beautiful love story. Their love story is beautiful. Encoded footprints. Wherever you go, I will find you. The other thing, final thing I want to say about Charles and Camilla, and then I'm going to pull some general cards on the divine feminine and masculine, is that I do know this to be true. I've heard this quite a few times, and it definitely happened within the Charles and Camilla and Diana template. There is talk that Camilla was one of the people that was actually, although she wanted Charles, she was of course married to somebody else at that time, she sort of encouraged, maybe isn't quite the right word, but was in the background when Charles was engaged to Diana, sort of encouraging him to do it. You know, you got to marry somebody. She'll, almost the attitude of she'll do. And I've heard this before, that your divine counterpart can, if you're not meant to be together forever, or maybe you're not meant to be together for another 5 decades, they will help negotiate or maneuver, might be a better word, maneuver somebody else to be the partner for you until a point where they can pick up the reins again, until the point where they can come into the front again. I know this to be true. They'll do. They'll do. And it's a weird one, but it's almost like it's a seal of approval. They'll do. And I wonder if any of you have got that in your back history, whether that's happened to you. Because I know it's happened. It's as though they pass the baton to somebody else because they know they can't be in the race. They can't be in the lead for whatever reason for a certain period of time. That you're also meant to go off and experience something or be with somebody else or have children with somebody else. But eventually you'll find your way back to each other. So it's as though there's a manoeuvring, or there's certainly some sort of seal of approval given. They'll do. They'll do for now. Because ultimately I know I'm going to get back into the lead. And also what Metatron's saying is I know that I'm going to be with, I'm there for the whole flight. Of the 3 birds in the race, only 2 survive. That's a generalisation, but I was talking about the Diana thing as well, you know. But it's more than just Charles, Camilla and Diana. This is, as I say, archetypal energy that other people are feeling. Encoded footprints, I will find you. Whatever the detours from the divine, I will find you. In every lifetime, I have found you. In every dimensional frequency, I have found you. And I will again. But I've learnt through many different dimensional frequencies what I don't want, what doesn't work. 4 of Hearts. What didn't work, what caused me grief, what it felt like to be with the wrong person. But were they right? Were they wrong? Nobody's ever really wrong because it's all growth, it's all learning. You might have had children with this person. It wasn't wrong. Again, Charles and Diana template, it wasn't wrong because they had 2 sons. Hope you're still with me. Is a bit deep, all this stuff, but I'm just trying to get us to open up our minds to other things to consider on this path, to look at the people on the path in maybe a different way. And I just think the whole template with Charles, Camilla and Diana is a really good one to expand our mind, because we have to when we're looking at it like this, we have to go away from, oh, but Charles and Diana and the fairy tale and no. There was always another person there. And that other person was always meant to be there. Because one day she was going to come back and fly with him. And next weekend they're crowned. It reverberates all the way down the ladder to all the different dimensional frequencies. Everybody gets a piece of the cake is what Metatron's saying. He's talking about the wedding cake, the celebration cake, the coronation cake. Everybody gets a piece of the cake. Cosmic rebellion. With the solar plexus energy and the full moon. Let me just show you the cards. Cosmic rebellion, solar plexus, full moon. Soulful surrender, it says, for full moon. When is the next full moon? I haven't got my diary to hand, but I know we're in between eclipses, aren't we? There's all sorts going on at the moment. Let's just have a little look though at what's happening. So we're into end of April. We have a May the 5th, lunar Beltane, lunar eclipse, full moon in Scorpio. Feels as though it's going to affect the solar plexus energy. And what it does is it turns our ego upside down, forces us to surrender, soulful surrender. It causes breakthrough. I see that card as breakthrough. Rebellion, it says, I know, but it's more sort of like, what the hell? What the hell? Let's do this. Let's do this. Look at those two little birds right beside the key lock. I said yesterday, just before I was recording this video, that all the locks in my house had to be changed for whatever reason. Nothing sinister, just a lot of the doors were broken and stuff. So we had the locks changed because there's a new key that has to go in, and only the person with the right key can get in. Think about the symbolism. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I will just pull one final card from masculine and feminine, and I'm going to go to a tarot deck, and then I think that's enough for now. Hopefully I haven't blown your minds too much. Right. Oops. That one just came out before I even pulled the cards. Knight of Shells, which is the Knight of Cups. Charm and passion. Charm and passion. Let's put that in the centre. Is that the flamingo as well? Can I get a soft cell Mark Armand song in here? Why the hell not? Standing in the door of the pink flamingo, crying in the rain. Oh, what a great song. My favourite song. At my funeral, please play Say Hello, Wave Goodbye. Say Hello, Wave Goodbye, Soft Cell. I mean, to be honest, now I've just gone off on one, and I'm just into the song's vibration. It's such a beautiful song. I've just got to read you. I've got to read you. I've got to do it, guys. I have got to do it. Say hello. It's the first verse says it all. Standing in the door of the pink flamingo, crying in the rain. It was a kind of so-so love, and I'm going to make sure it never happens again. You and I, it had to be the standing joke of the year. It's that bit. Again, go back to Charles and Diana. It's like it's the wrong choice. It's the wrong marriage. It's the wrong partner for what you want to step into now. Okay, might have served its purpose at one point, but it feels as though there is a unlocking of old connections, old relationships, a setting free. Wanting to step into a new future with what's actually right for you. Okay. 2 final cards. Let's have one for the Divine Masculine What would the divine masculine say to the divine feminine right now? Page of Feathers, exploration and discovery. Looks sort of quite perky, quite alert to wanting to discover, curiosity, you know, what's out there, what's out there. I love that. It's very innocent as well. It's like, am I ready? Yes, I am. Exploration and discovery. Remember what I said at the start of this video about divine counterparts waking up more as part of the ascension process. And I believe that is a more masculine energy as well. So we have the Page of Feathers. So he is saying, I'm waking up. I want to explore. I want to discover. It's almost like, are you still there? Well, yeah, of course you're still there, but that's sort of the energy I'm getting. Yes, because of an awakening. That's exactly what I just said, because of an awakening. And on the bottom of the pack, we've got the Three of Feathers, which is release and recovery. Ten of Feathers, recovery and transformation. Definitely, definitely, definitely. This is the Spirit Song Tarot, by the way. There is an awakening, a transformation, a sense of wanting to explore, get out there, discover with regards to the twin flame path and you, effectively, from the divine masculine's perspective. Okay. What message from the divine feminine to the divine masculine? Message from the divine feminine to the divine masculine. Strengthen the sun. Hilarious. As I said, strengthen the sun for the divine feminine. My battery got too hot on my camera and conked out. Literally too hot. It's like the light is so bright, so bright. The divine feminine's light is so bright. Place of great strength. Strengthen the sun. I mean, vitality, joy, courage, endurance. Wow. No wonder we have the divine masculine from their slumber, from their sleep. It's like, I'm being shown it's like having been in the deepest sleep. And then, you know, like in the morning and the light is pouring through the curtains, and even in a deep sleep, it wakes you. Because it's like, wow, the day just looks so inviting. I've got to get out in that. I've got to go and explore. I've got to go and do something. I can't just put the duvet over my head and go back to sleep. Look at that light. That's the divine feminine energy. Beautiful, beautiful. The hummingbird and the elephant. I'm just going to pull a clarification on the Knight of Shells, which we have in the middle, the standing in the door of the pink flamingo energy. Let's have a look. It does feel as though, in all seriousness, there's an 80s vibe with this, because, yeah, Soft Cell, that's an 80s classic song. And again, Charles and Diana, they married in the 80s. There's something about the 80s energy with regards to all of this. Could be that people that are born in the 80s or people that had pivotal times in the 80s, this might be a bit of a siren call for you, this particular time with regards to the twin flame. We've got the World on the bottom of the deck again. It's like cycle completing for those people. I don't know what astrologically what that would mean. People in their people who were having a time of their life in their 80s, I mean, that would be me as well. So, for example, I'm 56, so coming up to Saturn return, which is, I think, 58, is it? Something like that. Or it could be that you're born in the 80s. I don't know what that means astrologically in terms of you've got something in your sign that's about to kick in. Something with regards to that anyway. But definitely cycles closing out. Cycles closing out. Ten of Acorns, responsibility and dedication. Interesting, I just said about Saturn return. Because second Saturn return, I'm feeling is just about, you know, it's about everything getting a bit lighter, less duty, less responsibility, a bit more fun, you know, all of that type of energy coming in. Okay. Hope that's helped today. Let's just have a final message for the people watching. Final message for the people watching. Oh, I could do the charms as well. Let's do that actually. Final card for the people watching, then I'll do a couple of charms. Final card for the people watching on their twin flame journey. The Nine of Feathers, perspective and self-empowerment. Now, I don't know whether that's meant to be a porcupine, but it looks like a porcupine to me. And I've mentioned porcupine medicine before in some video. I can't remember which one it was. The porcupine has these very long quills. One of you sent me a quill, do you remember? And they are razor sharp. You don't want to come on the receiving end of that. So this feels as though this is a return to what I was talking about earlier on in the video about protect yourself. Put your quills out, okay? Nobody can come at you if they know they're going to get one of these, okay? So up your defences, put your shields up. Not everyone's going to understand, not everyone's going to get your journey or who you are or what your essence is. Porcupine coming in to, because the thing is, it's about self-empowerment, this card. When you know you're protected and nothing can touch you, it helps you to feel more powerful within yourself, does it not? Absolutely. So whether this is for you, whether it's for your divine counterpart, I don't know. I feel as though I can't put this down now. Let me now just do a couple of charms for you and let's see what we get. And I think I'm just gonna have a play here. Let's see any other messages for this video. I'm just gonna see which fall out. Let's just have a couple that fall out. One more. Right. We have the tree. We have a starfish with wings on, because why the hell not? And we have a seahorse. Oh, we also have an anchor. So we have two symbols which seem to be very much linked into the need to ground. The anchor and the tree. The anchor and the tree. Don't know if it's focusing. So the need to ground at this time. To stay anchored in a crazy old world. That you are each other's anchor is what I'm hearing Metatron say. During these times, you always have been. You always have been and you always will be. You'll always be each other's anchor. You'll always be each other's home. However far you stray from the anchor point, you'll always come back to it. In each lifetime, you always have. The starfish always reminds me of Mary Magdalene's energy with wings. It's like turbocharged Mary Magdalene. And the seahorse, what are you trying to say? The seahorse just has, if you see the way they move in water, they're very graceful, they're very elegant. They're almost like something that you can't believe actually exists. It's like, what is that? And what type of world does that live in? And how does it do that? And why does it look like that? And it's like you can't fit the seahorse into a nice little neat box. It's like very unique, very individual. And there's the qualities of that feel as though they're important for us at the moment on this journey. I'm going to end with a bit of Mary Magdalene. So I'm hoping that her spray is to hand. Yes, it is. Let me just grab it. Oh gosh, hold on. Okay. Mary Magdalene. Final message from Mary Magdalene. Oh, of course. I'm going to go back to Camilla. Why hadn't I not seen this? Thank you, Mary. Mary was always, she's never had her place, has she? She's written out of the New Testament in many ways in terms of who she truly was. She wasn't this woman with demons that had to be cast out of her. You know, she was the divine counterpart of Christ, is what I believe her to be. Many of you I know believe that as well. But her time is coming. But she wasn't the devil in disguise who needed to be cleansed and cleaned before she could be before her divine masculine. So this feels as though Camilla taking her place as queen next week. Again, I'm just feeling the symbolism of that for women that have been shunned, that have been cast as the wicked stepmother, the wicked witch, the the baddie in all of this, the divorcee, the whatever, divine feminine. There's a divine feminine template there within Camilla. If you can get past maybe prejudice of what you think about her or royalty or anything like that, and you just see her as soul light, because she is a soul like everybody else. If you see her soul path and her journey in this lifetime, wow, it's interesting. What a strong, independent woman. And some of the people that really loved her, or loved, I'm saying loved because one of them's just died, Paul O'Grady, for example, was great fans with fans and friends with Camilla because they shared a love of animals, all this type of stuff. So, yeah, I'm getting that. Anything else, Mary Magdalene, for the people watching? To be your own queen. To be your own queen. And the thing about it, oh, it's so beautiful, guys. Because what she's saying is, the thing is, Charles always wanted her as his queen. He did. He wanted her as his queen. He's fought for it over years. Over years. That she couldn't ever be queen. That was the whole movement. Not my queen. You can never be my, she can't be queen. And of course, Diana positioned herself as queen of people's hearts, and she always will be. And we love Diana too. Can you have two queens? Yes, maybe. That's a story for another day. I'm going to do a whole special on the coronation. Some of what I've said in here, I might have to repeat because people won't necessarily watch this video. But I hope you found it interesting, and I hope you took from it some things that you can apply to your own relationship and your own connection as well. Remembering you are each other's king and queen. Much love. Take care. Remember, you operate all the different frequencies. You're all of it, and we're all on the ladder. And the thing is, if you take one rung out of the ladder because you don't like it, the whole ladder effectively collapses. Be each other's anchor. Take care. Lots of love. Bye for now. Bye.